We're gonna make a video.
Oh,
So
what? Oh, you mean now you want me to
yeah, tell
elucidate?
everybody how much you love them.
You want me to elucidate?
No, I don't want you to hallucinate.
And well, I'm not used to doing very much talking, but I'll stretch it a little bit. And yeah, well, I'm laying here, and the good Lord has found that now's the time. And without going into the details of what's wrong with me, it will be fast, and and so I'm not going to be hanging around too long. In fact, personally, I just assume that I can go quickly and not have to be in so much pain, you know. And but listen, we're having we have so many great grandchildren and grandchildren and children, and I am just so pleased with my life that I don't think that anybody can match it. Uh, I've lived the longest. I've worked on amazing new things. Like I saw one of the first airplanes fly over. In fact, they flew so low that we could wave to the pilot. And now they fly in the stratosphere. And I worked on the first atomic submarine, the Nautilus. And I worked in Pittsburgh in the Atomic Energy Division, and I left there after they tried to blow me up. That wasn't a near life episode, but it was.
That wasn't one of the 7.
No, no, but no, that wasn't life threatening. It really harmed Mom more than me when she saw me coming out of the ambulance in my work clothes, and they had brought me home. But and then too the 8 times I almost left the planet. They're all in a book. And
read the book. It's all in the
yeah,
book.
this is another little book about the 8 times I almost left the planet. And then of course there's all the stories. I just finished the one. Seth always wanted me to write one about all the grandchildren.
You know that wasn't Seth, right? Chloe says that was her.
Who said that?
Chloe said she was the one that told you to write a book about all the grandkids.
I could say she also, because I have a vivid memory, Chloe, and but that's great. That and the thing is, you're not in it because you're married. So blame your husband if you're not married. You're not in it. And and I put all of the unmarried grandchildren in the story, but Seth is the one that has the hallucinations. He's the
he
one.
has hallucinations in this story.
Yeah. Well, he bumps his head, and it puts him into a big operation to save the planet.
Well, we'll have to read the book.
Yeah, okay. Well, so the book will be there, and as I always say, it's in the book. And I told a lot of people here about my service book, and I sent Eileen my video, and for Christmas I was going to give everybody a little flash disc with Ellen's story and with my World War II story. You'll have to be patient because I only talk for an hour, and on the video, and the guy making the video, he kept saying, I kept asking him rather, is that enough? He said, is the war over? I said, no. And he said, well, tell me about the war. So I went on and on and on and on.
I don't know how you can do that. It's so hard for you to go on and on.
I not only told about the war, but I told about all my records being lost after the war. And then I left off when I came home, expecting never to get any entanglements or weddings or marriages or tie myself down to one woman. And I was going to.
You had plans to not tie yourself down to one woman?
Yes.
Did you plan to be Mormon?
Well, I try not to interrupt the day.
I was just curious if you had plans I didn't know about.
It's easy for me to say I misspoke. And that's misspoke.
Misspoke.
I didn't make a mistake. At any rate, before I was nicely interrupted, where was I anyhow?
You were talking about women, and then you met your wife. You were going to tell us about how you met your wife.
Then the grandmother, the mother, and your great grandmother, they ruined everything. When I went to a wedding to a guy that, you talk about weddings made in heaven, I get invited to a wedding of a guy that I hadn't seen in 10 years, and he was in the orphanage, and he was older than me. He was with my brother, which I think was maybe the reason he sent me an invitation too. And but anyway, and here it is. We go through a war. He was in the service, and I wound up seeing this young lady in a polka dot dress coming down, her dark eyes, dark hair, and I thought, hot dog, that's for me. And I proposed to her that night. Well, I didn't propose. I said, Peggy, I'm going to marry you. She jumped up and went over and sat with her aunt. She said, that guy's crazy. I don't even know who he is. And he's going to marry me. And, but that was the start of all of this. And here I am at the end of it. And if any of you are wondering how I feel, I'll tell a little story about me and Grandma. One day we were sitting there in the living room, just TV wasn't on, and we were talking about how old we were. And I says, we have to make a decision. I said, and she says, what kind? I said, well, who should go first? She says, why do you ask a question like that? I said, well, it's important. I said, and she says, well, who do you think should go first? And I said, well, I think it'd be better if you did. And she said, why me? Why not you? I said, well, hey, I said, there's a lot involved in funerals and taking care of the house and the bills, and I have all that information. You would have to look at my information and figure out what to do. And I said, I wouldn't have to figure out. So I said, I'll come soon after you, don't worry. And sure enough, she said, well, if that's the way it should be, that sounds like a good idea. And so now I'm one person. And she's been up there getting ready to make my special meals or whatever they do in heaven. And I know one thing, that the first birthday in heaven is better than anything that's, I love you all. We had great birthdays, but none of them will compare with that. You can't be a Christian or say you're a Christian if you can't believe that heaven is what Jesus told us that it is. And that's where I'm heading. And I'm not. And I hope that, like I always say, it's okay to grieve. It's okay to feel sorry, to feel sad. I said, but be happy for me, huh? I said, when you think about me, think about some of the things I've done, the things you remember, like Sarah calling my back. I didn't have any cushions. But you all have something special in my heart that you've given me, and you've given me. I guarantee you, when I get to heaven, I'm not going to be like Ellen and Alan's little guy in a little red suit that they find every morning. I'm going to be.
You mean the elf on the shelf?
Yeah, the elf on the shelf. I'm going to tell Jesus what wonderful people you are, and that if you've done anything that maybe he didn't like, I'm sure he'll forgive you for it. So. And let's see, what do you say? It's the end.
It's the end, but bump. How about I
Well,
love you a bushel and a peck?
Well, you could ask me what the guy did when I was doing the video. I could say, is my life over? And the good Lord will say yes, and I'll say wonderful, and He'll say, come on up. Amen.
Amen. Love you.
Well, I love you so much. Yeah.
Okay, the end.